July 19, 2023. Good day all. This is a message from Sierra Victor. Today we want to question a scare tactic often used over the past decade or two by some organizations to boost their membership and the fees they collect from concerned citizens. The prediction is that one day an event will happen overnight where thousands of criminals and the lower-income citizens of South Africa will storm the middle-class and upper-class neighborhoods in an attempt to orchestrate a white genocide. This prediction is loosely attributed to a vision by Johanna Brandt. Let's make it clear that it is not a vision of Siener van Rensburg as many of these doomsday prophets suggest. References to what happened to the Portuguese in Angola and Mozambique is also used to boost this possibility. Let's look at the possibility from a mathematical point of view. About 3 weeks ago, we received media reports that the Russian PMC group named Wagner marched onto Moscow in a show of force. Their numbers were estimated at 30,000 men. Now to move 30,000 men, you need 300 C-130 aeroplane flights, or in old SHTF terms you need about 3,000 SAML-20 vehicles. Whether these numbers were reported correct or not, is irrelevant. We want to connect this action to a South African context. A taxi minibus can legally transport 16 people, but because we know the drivers have special skill in overloading their vehicles and to ease the mathematics, we'll assume they can transport 20 people at a time. Now, to transport just 1,000 so-called soldiers or attackers, you will need 50 of these taxis. To transport 10,000 you will need 500 taxis. So, between 50 and 500 taxis need to fuel up, gather the so-called soldiers and then transport them without anyone noticing to the edge of a neighborhood, unload them, get everyone organized with some kind of weapon and then start the attack. Again, without anyone noticing. Without the police, private security companies, normal citizens, or people staying in the perimeter houses of the suburb. Then they must launch the attack. From history we know they boost their self-confidence with chanting, screaming, and yelling. Let's say they start to storm now down a street, attacking houses, and pulling people out into the streets, murdering them while torching the houses. Keep in mind that most houses have high walls, palisade fencing etc. due to current crime. That is obstacles who need to be crossed and will slow down the advance. How far will they manage to invade before people start phoning other people, emergency services, police, private security etc.? How far will they manage to invade before normal law-abiding armed citizens start defending themselves from cover against this exposed threat coming down the streets? What if these defending citizens decide not to flee and have a bit of knowledge in how to lay ambushes? Ambush operations. The ambush is a form of surprise attack where, rather than stealthily approaching a target and attacking by surprise, an enemy unit is allowed to wander into a designated kill zone or kill box. There are 3 basic ambush drills and 1 contact breaking drill. The L-shaped ambush. As the name suggests, defense members are placed in the form of an L. The long leg of the L being parallel to the road or the direction of advance of the enemy. As the enemy advances down the route or street and enters the kill zone, they should be allowed to advance fully into the fields of fire. The team leader or designated defense leader will be placed in the long leg of the L for a clear view of the oncoming threat. He will initiate the ambush with the first shot fired. That will be the signal for all the other members to open fire. The enemy in the kill zone who are not immediately killed or wounded will react in one of 3 ways. They will either run towards the source of the fire, attacking into the ambush, they will try to run away and seek cover from the rifle fire, or they will freeze in place. It is important to remember that many well-trained armies and paramilitary groups use point men to walk ahead of a patrol or advance. These men should not be engaged unless they discover the presence of the defense waiting in ambush. Otherwise, they should be allowed to pass by. Even if they discover the defense and must be eliminated, they must be dealt with as quickly and silently as possible, either via suppressed weapons or knives. One member of the defense should be designated to deal with the point man if there is one after the ambush initiates. We will continue in our next message with the other ambush variants. Thank you for listening or reading this message. Please feel free to use and distribute as needed. Our messages are not by any means enticing you to a revolution of sorts, but rather to equip you with the necessary theoretical background in order to assist local armed forces or police in stabilizing a SHTF situation. Please contact any admin on any Sierra Victor group for our previous material or search for our channel on YouTube. We wish you well. Sierra Victor.